How are we all doing? How are we doing? Hope everyone is fine. I am cool over here. I am safe and sound, tucked away from any protests, any violence, any. I can see a lot of the comments in the comment section, and as usual, I'm coming to give you my very British opinion on what's going on at the moment. And it's a little bit different from what you guys are saying over in the comment section. And I hope that, as usual, you will come to this conversation with an open mind because I'm about to share something that nobody else is saying. But I'm going to begin with this. The irony is almost too rich right now to ignore. The very tactics that the royal family used to try and undermine Prince Harry and Meghan are now silencing them. As always, with anything that is going on with the media, where the royal family is concerned and politics is part of it, the conversation, you definitely need to read in between the lines. You need to kind of know the history. You need to know everyone's position in the conversation. And that is what I bring to this conversation this evening. So, as the UK, should I say they're still engulfed? I think the protests have definitely tapered off. We have in place a brilliant prime minister who has been working overtime. To me, if you ask me, I would say he has been doing all of the right things in order to bring and restore calm and order from the far right field racist riots. And as would be usual, because even the British people, I think, don't even know their history. They don't even know who were the legal positions of all the public figures that we are presented with on a daily basis stand. They don't know where everyone's legal position are. And that makes for a very confusing set of affairs and allows for a lot of manipulation to take place. So, what am I talking about? You must be saying, my goodness, is this word salad or are you just really speaking? That is what I'm trying to do. So, as usual, the public has been asking questions and they're all like, where is King Charles? Why is the royal family not saying anything? And so far, all they have gotten is silence. There is a reason for that. And that's what I am here to discuss with you now. As I have often said to you in my previous videos, just like TD Jakes would often say, um, but TD Jakes will often say in his church that he would not pastor a church that does not read their Bible. In this case, since we talk about the royal family, and politics, I refuse to have a community of people who are following the herd without actually understanding how everything is playing out. So, as I said, I'm going to be discussing a different perspective, and I need you to have an open mind as I break down what everyone's legal position on the playing field is. So, King Charles, as we have already said, is yet to address the public uh, since the unrest started. And this is despite the fact that he did express condolences for the Southport attack. And the question everyone has been asking is, why is the palace quiet? So the thing is, let me see. I think, right, he has requested, and people have been making fun of him for this, that King Charles has requested daily updates on the evolving situation and is engaging privately with issues concerning community cohesion and interfaith dialogue. A lot of word salady sounding words, right? And that's exactly what it is. But before we get into it, let me say hello to everyone. How is everyone doing? Welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel. I'm Wizzy, and it is absolutely fantastic to meet you all virtually. I am so glad to be here, and I am so glad to be. I think I would be literally the only person who is presenting this perspective. So just bear with as I present it to you today. Okay. So, of course, anyone in their right mind would be expecting a statement from the royal family, particularly because they have been positioned as world leaders. And Prince William did find a way to publicly deny that the royal family was racist after the Harry and Meghan Oprah interview, right? So if you are going to say, well, the royal family doesn't give public statements when things happen because we follow the don't explain and don't complain rule, well, what about there are many things you could point out and say, well, you did give a statement at this time and you did give a statement at this time. So, and you would be quite, forgiven if you thought that way. However, there is a but in this situation, and I'm just about to explain exactly what that is. Because we even had Dr. Shola asking the question, where is King Charles, the unelected head of state, while the country he's meant to serve blows up in race riots? When black and brown lives are in fear of their lives, liberty, and livelihoods, the silence from the British monarchy is deafening. And I was quite surprised, actually, to see this tweet from Dr. Shola because I know that she knows her history. So I am guessing, I have a theory for the reason why she sent out this tweet. But before we continue, if this is your first time on this channel, please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment or two in the comment section. If you have visited before and you have not yet subscribed, let today be the day you decide to subscribe. And for all those who have been rocking with me from the beginning, thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. My channel has been flickering like a light bulb because it's been coming under a lot of pressure from the derangers. I think they don't like the things that I have been talking about, so they have been reporting the channel a lot and hitting the thumbs down button. So YouTube has been sending me a lot of cautionary emails, but it's all sorted. But the defense to my channel is the engagement you guys give it. Okay, let's continue. Um, can we first of all, before we continue, can we just talk about how much fun the squaddies on Twitter streets have been having with this one? Can you look at this on the screen? Missing. Have you seen this family? Presumed rich. I cracked up like a crazy person when I saw this. I was literally sitting down and I fell to the floor when I saw this. It's almost like a wanted notice. Or what about this one? Where they said um, some people were taking it further and they were trying to explain King Charles's dilemma. Obviously, any right thinking person would imagine that the right thing to do in this situation would be to publicly condemn the far right thugs who happen to be the royal family's biggest supporters. On the other hand, doing so would admit that Harry and Meghan were right? Which would also raise then the question of Prince Harry's security. So, if you're looking at it from that perspective, the only thing that the royal family can do is to remain silent and hope that the protests blow over and they don't have to say anything at all. Because, in actual sense, the UK does have a prime minister who is governing the country and taking care of things. So, there's really no need for the royal family to step in. But what's the reality though? What is the reality? The reality of the situation is, uh, hold on a second. The reality of the situation is that the royal family's role in this scenario is mainly what they say all the time. It is ceremonial. Okay. I have shared with you the power sharing abilities of all the players on the field. So you've got the royal family, you've got the parliament, and you've got the judiciary. So the background to these protests, this is why I said that you need to come into the conversation with an open mind and open your mind perhaps to the nuance, because I know that a lot of people and have been saying one thing, but I'm here in the UK and I understand how the government works, and I know the reason why the royal family are not able to add their voice to this situation. Bear in mind, I'm not a royalist, I'm not making a defense for them, but there is a reason why the media is doing outrage reporting at the moment, and they constantly use the royal family to distract from exactly what they don't want you looking at one thing. So they point you in a totally different direction. Okay. So that said, let me bring you back to where I'm at. The background to this protest is mainly political. If you watch my last video, I explained the reason why the protest was taking place. A lot of people have been calling it racist protests and all of this. Yes, there is that, but that's not really the main thing. In order for you to understand how the protest started, you need to go back to what happened at the end of last month. And the end of last month, what happened was that the UK exposed the fact that there was a £20 billion black hole missing from the UK budget. They exposed the Conservative Party's corruption. They exposed a lot of things. And I think it was the same day or the very next day, these protests started. All of this that you're seeing right here is all political. Do not be deceived. And the media are in cahoots with everybody else, that's the politicians and everybody. They are trying to distract everyone's attention away from what happened, because it was a huge embarrassment for the Conservative Party. And who are the people who are more closely aligned to the Conservative Party? The people who are aligned to the Conservative Party are the right wing thugs. They are one and the same. It must have been that immediately after the exposure, they must have called their people in the yard and said, get out onto the street and go on there and cause a confusion, cause conflict. In fact, as a matter of fact, it is my humble opinion that they tried to overthrow the government, but it just didn't work. Don't be confused at all. Don't listen to that rhetoric where they're talking about racism. Yes, of course, we all know that the UK is racist, but they used racism as a tool to distract everyone's attention from exactly what happened last week. And since there is a prime minister, so bringing it back to what I was talking about and the role of the royal family and the reason why they are silent, since there is a prime minister in parliament who is tackling a very volatile situation as calmly as possible, actually, as professionally as possible, there wouldn't have been any reason for him to interfere. Mainly because him trying to say anything, it would be as though he is in breach of the royal family's agreement with Parliament not to interfere with matters of state that was signed all the way back in 1215, when the Magna Carta of the UK was signed and power was transferred from the royal family to Parliament. So, in matters like this, the royal family has a duty to step back and allow the governing party to take the lead in all things as it relates to this. Him giving a statement at this time would, of course, a huge backlash because it would seem as though he was trying to take the reins of governance away from the party in power. Okay? Now, the question remains though, why is it? Oh, before I go into that, if you are watching all of this, if you're watching the reporting, they are the ones hyping it, confusing everyone because a lot of people don't know their history. They don't know how the constitution of the UK is positioned. They don't know the laws that govern the UK and how they came to be and how they operate in practice. So you would be forgiven if you become confused as to the reason why the media, knowing these facts, bring the royal family into this all the time. After all, I saw a news article recently. Uh, I saw a news article recently where the media was asking why the royal family was silent. But let's put that to one side for the moment. Let's look at this tweet from Peter Hunt. He said Peter Hunt is one of the journalists who works with Byline Times. Okay. He said, we have a silent head of state. The palace spins talks of bridge building in private. Charles is meant to be a unifying figure who champions religious tolerance and mutual respect. Yet, he said nothing about racism and rioting. It's an untenable position. If not now, when? And I can understand also the reason why he put out this tweet because matter is very complex. Honestly, it really takes someone who is ready to listen to understand this, and I hope you are ready for this because I'm ready to explain. The quick answer to this question though is the royal family are easy targets. Yes, they, as I explained when I was doing my video on the political playlist, if you want to watch the videos on the political playlist where I broke down the difference in the relationships between parliament and the role the royal family plays in lawmaking and how laws are made, the history of the royal family's relationship with parliament is complex, and the concepts associated with the royal family's existence are outdated in these modern times. But the laws that validate their existence remain in practice. So the royal family are mostly immune. They're mostly immune from a lot of the criticism of people's expectations because the laws that support the position they take in society are there. So people can talk as much as they want. They're not going to change or do anything if they don't want to. The only reason why they would do anything, why they even do charity work at all, the only reason why they pretend like they're doing anything at all is to prevent a similar kind of revolution like the one that took place in France, the French Revolution, where the royal family in France were thrown out of the palaces and all powers were given to the politicians. So, you see what I'm saying? The royal family are mostly immune from valid criticism because by law they're allowed to take money they receive without a corresponding duty to do any work for the funds that they receive, except what they agree to do. It's there in law. This is why when people are criticizing them, they don't say anything because they know they have the law in their corner. That said, I think that because the royal family are such easy targets, they are easy shields for the media, who regularly and consistently, without fail, use the royal family as shields to protect themselves from public criticism and they make use of the royal family as tools of distraction. Okay? So, my response, sorry, this is the reason why you then now see, even though the UK is in flames, everywhere is in chaos, businesses have been burnt down, everything is going wrong, and then you still have people like Maureen Eden from the Daily Mail continuing to stoke the fires of hate in his column. The main issue in the UK is the media, not the royal family. Though the royal family are completely useless and despicable in their silence against the racist abuse Meghan was receiving, but it's the media that continues to stoke the logs of hate in the UK and broadcast them all over the country. Every time there could be every time that they could be held accountable or people are beginning to wake up to hold them accountable for anything, they counter with outrage stories like this one, for instance. Look at all that is going on and all that Richard Maureen Eden could come up with was this is today's his article on the Daily Mail today. Real reason desperate successes keen to build bridges. Like, are you kidding me? This is the poison that people are imbibing on a daily basis. What we witness in the protests, this is why I said that the hate and the racism cannot be entirely dismissed, but they are not the major problem. Is that the hate is what they receive from the newspapers, from the radio, from wherever they get their news and entertainment from on a daily basis. And what we witnessed in the protest was people exploding because they have pent up frustrations from watching and imbibing this stuff for the longest time. This case in this article by Richard Eden is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. While the UK is burning in parts and while protests have been mainly contained, Richard Eden continues his hate campaign against Harry and Meghan without anybody taking him to task for it because we are focused on the royal family. It's not the royal family who are writing these stories and stoking the hate. You know? Where is the campaign against the media? Where is the campaign against the media's hate stories? There is none because they distract us with stories like, where is Charles? Charles should say something. It's not Charles who is writing these stories, which is getting everyone stirred up. It's not Charles who is doing that. He's a useless father. Everyone knows this. But he's not the one writing the stories, which is getting everybody wound up. He's not the one doing that. And but he's an easy target because because for the most part, the royal family are rich. And so they don't do any work. And a lot of people don't understand the role the royal family actually play when it comes to parliament. So, as I said earlier, it's not the royal family's duty to address the public for any reason because we've got a prime minister in place whose duty it is to take the forefront in all things related to the duties of the executive arm of government. As a matter of fact, fun fact, which is why we've got the article of the Queen on the screen. Do you know that in the 70 years that the Queen reigned in the UK, she only addressed the public 5 times during her reign? And each time it was at the request of the government. The monarch cannot come out in public to do anything unless it's on the request of the government. Otherwise, they would be in breach of their agreement with the parliament, which is why they always, complain that Charles and William have a tendency to overstep their position as monarch. So, as I mentioned before, why then is the media reporting on the situation as though they're expecting the royal family to speak when they know that they can't? And it's for the reasons I had previously mentioned. Outrage reporting, they want to distract us from the main issue so that they can continue to do what they're doing um, while we focus on the royal family, knowing that nothing can be done to the royal family. So they hide behind the royal family to do the damage that they do. Well, as usual, the royal family also, knowing this, knowing as part of the deal that they have with the media, they also speak through the media. They speak through the media, and I think part of it really is a way of keeping their names in the news cycle because any PR is good PR, right? Yeah. As a matter of fact, as I said, the royal family have no role to play. If they attempted to say anything, the backlash would be much worse than the backlash they're getting for not saying anything. So they keep silent. I think maybe we should expect to hear from the royal family maybe 2 weeks from now when everyone has forgotten. That way, they can't be accused of taking the forefront in the crisis, taking the shine away from the prime minister, or attempting to do the prime minister's job of calming the country down. People say that if it was the queen, she would have said something. As I've just said, in the 70 years that she was the queen, she only addressed the country 5 times. Five. I mean, 70 years, addressed the country 5 times. And each time she addressed the country, she was on the request of the government. This also accounts for the reason why we are not hearing Harry and Meghan say anything either. Because even though they have stepped down as senior members of the royal family, you might say, well, they might want to say something because even though they're all the way in America, this is a humanitarian issue, just the way they did for George Floyd, I think, when he passed away. No, they can't, because in the UK, this would be seen as a political issue, and the royals cannot interfere in political issues in the UK. They would have received intelligence to know where all of this started from in the first place. So, the situation could as well be a case study. This situation as a whole could well be a case study showing how the media manipulates public perception. And they're doing a fantastic job of it, because when I have scanned social media, there are only a very few people saying exactly what I'm saying, seeing through the mess. There are only a few people who are reporting on it as and seeing things exactly for what they are, as I am. Um, and as it is, we ignore the organizations that we should be holding accountable and attack those who have immunity against media attacks. Because when the media senses that the public are about to call for media accountability, they push their largest pawn onto the chessboard, and everybody falls for it, like everybody did this time. The royal family, King Charles, why is he not saying anything? He doesn't have anything to say. He's not supposed to say anything. It's not his job to say anything. He would get into trouble if he attempted to say anything. um, the royal family's immunity is the reason why I have been advocating for the UN petition to support Prince Harry and Meghan's efforts towards lobbying for media reform. Before I continue, let me just have a look at the comments uh, in the comment section. So then we're going to scroll back up and I just come down. Oh, let's see. Suzy Q says the king is on summer vacation at Balmoral. He wants allegiance for Brits. Okay, and then what? Yeah, as I explained, that's his that's his prerogative. Suzy Q going to France for a 450,000 lobster steak dinner. He's not going to buy King Chucky anything. He should sit down and shut up. Mm, scroll. Okay, Sue Sussex Love says, to be honest, Charles doesn't care about anything about what happened to Muslims or any people of color, which is why he doesn't care about the Commonwealth. So no surprises, he does off to the party. Well, I don't mind anyone saying this. Honestly, I don't. But where is the smoke for the media who are distracting people away from the main issue? Because the media are the ones who are still writing negatively about Harry and Meghan. And according to the UK Constitution, The King Charles is not even allowed to come out to say anything when things like this happen in the UK. This is just kind of how it works in the UK, which I appreciate is different in America. But this is what I mean. They know that most people don't understand the delicate balance and the delicate dance of power between the parliament and the monarchy. And so they push the monarchy to the front when there are issues, knowing that the monarchy has immunity. Nobody can do anything to the monarchy unless there is a revolution. The monarchy cannot be moved. So the more you throw stones at them, they just shrug it off. After all, they've got gold plated shields, right? So they shrug it off. So you're wasting your time when you're looking at the monarchy. What about the people who are writing this diatribe about Harry and Meghan? They're the real culprits. Susan says, wasn't able to comment yesterday. Glad that all seems to be working today. Seems like YouTube has been having a belly ache for a while now, but glad to see that things are beginning to work well now. Sometimes people say that to me, and it almost seems like they are shadow banned, but as I said, YouTube has been sending me messages saying that they have been having a few issues behind the scenes. Lorna says yes, and the leader of those thugs, Tommy Robinson, has fled with his family to Cyprus and is complaining because the tabloids doxed him. Yes, absolutely. These are the people who need to be held to account. They just hide. They just hide behind the royal family, and they're easy targets. But they're not the ones with the issue. Mostly in the rural areas in the UK with backward thinkers and far right peeps lives. WH says Charles should still say something. These are his subjects. No, it's not his place to say anything. As I explained to you, under the Constitution, he would be breaching his duty if he came out to say anything, especially as the crisis is being dealt with by the prime minister. He can come out later, maybe in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, to say, I'm sorry you all went through this, but he cannot be seen to be taking the lead in this position because it would look as though he is still struggling. The monarchy is still struggling for the power of the UK, whereas the power of executing orders in the UK belongs with the prime minister, not the monarchy. Squaddies, I'm sleepy. It's 12:30. We'll watch on replay. Bye, everyone, and prayers for our faves. All right, bye, Connie Barmer. Bye. Even The Guardian is trying to distract. I saw an article from The Guardian on YouTube on the day of the worst UK riots on Canada. Is Canada turning anti-migrant? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. The Queen had no reason to address the country. The Queen was pressured to say something when Diana died. She came back from Balmoral because of what the people were saying about her. That's one of the 5 reasons. That's one of the 5 times that the Queen addressed the public. She did have reason to address the public. There were 5 reasons. So I know that one of them was when COVID was happening. When COVID was happening, people were really scared about the vaccine. And after trying to put out several ads trying to get people to go and take the vaccine, and people weren't going for the vaccine, the government asked the Queen to come out and address the people and show that she was taking the vaccines to convince people to do a go ahead to take the vaccine. So that's kind of correct, but also incorrect at the same time. Big backlash has already started. BBC has an article on King Chucky's 450,000 French state. No, that's just outrage reporting. They want people to focus on the royal families. Seemingly, it seems like they want people to focus on the royal family's extravagant lifestyle, but it is what they have already agreed that they're going to be doing. As I said, they use the it's kind of, I don't know why it's so clear to me, but it's kind of a very difficult concept to wrap your mind around, if because in a way it almost doesn't make sense. If you are supposedly head of state and you have so much wealth, how come you don't rush forward when there is a crisis? But that's the contract they signed with the British government in all the way back in 1215, and it works for them up till today. Hmm. Sussex Love said, let me be clear, I'm not making excuses for the media. I'm simply saying that Charles, the royal family, and the media ain't as I completely and agree, and I have already said so in the course of this live stream, that then he's a useless father. Everybody knows that. The media are completely useless as well. But in this instance, it is the media who are stoking the riots, the protests. It is a political gambit. I would almost go as far. Let me surround what I'm about to say with allegedly. I would almost go as far as saying that they were trying to execute a coup. It's just that it didn't work. Just the way January 6th didn't work in America. Because you have to think about it. The Labour Party just won the election 3.5 weeks ago. And then this happens after the Conservative Party were exposed for corruption, hideous corruption, huge failings. And the Labour Party announced that they were going to be setting up a COVID commission to recover over, how much did they call it? 40 billion that is from the contracts that were given out to the Conservative Party awardees. Yeah. Chucky said a lot about climate change, a political issue. It's all seriously shady. He gets no pass from me. I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just telling you what the law says. I'm just telling you what the law says. I am not a royalist by any means, and I know that perhaps what I'm saying is difficult to understand, to not to understand, to accept. But I may not have said it, but I have a legal background, and that's why I'm able to explain and understand these issues, which I'm trying to explain to you guys here and now. And I'm trying to tell you that they always use the royal family to distract from the matters on ground, because the royal family are immune from a lot of the criticism that anybody wants to throw at them. Dobie says, why did Harry ask him to say something on Meghan's behalf? That's a different thing. That's a different thing, because what we are experiencing now is a political issue. Speaking on Meghan's behalf would be a family issue. They have spoken on family issues. The royal family have spoken on family issues. If they didn't speak on family issues, why did they announce kids' cancer? Why did they announce the king's cancer? I'm trying to explain the differences to you guys. Hopefully, you'll be able to accept what I am saying. Dobie says the monarchy needs to be abolished. I agree with you. I agree with you. But in this instance, well, I can't force you. It's up to you to decide for yourself. But I'm just trying to show you exactly what is happening. I absolutely agree. A dangerous political stunt gambit for sore losers who can give up the power. They could take a good lesson from Joe Biden. Uh, Katie Gabby was thinking the same way, to throw the new government into turmoil. That is exactly what it is. Because this new government, do you see the speed with which they came in and they took over everything? They had a plans, like they planned their first 100 days, and they were moving so efficiently. And even in the midst of all of this turmoil and chaos, they have moved efficiently, and they were trying to destabilize that so that they could take Keir Starmer out of the way. If you watched one of my videos on why the UK pays the royal family their money, you would see that I had said that it is part of the agreement that they had with the um, royal family. But then Keir Starmer, in the King's speech, notified the royal family that the government were going to be taking over the sovereign purse going forward, which is the 75%, which is supposed to be coming back to the UK government. They, instead of leaving it for the royal family to determine that is going to be and doing the distribution, they are taking it over from the royal family, and they're going to be making sure that everything is where it is. So it's kind of like they let a fox into the chicken hen. They threw every relationship that the Conservative Party had put in place to enjoy themselves, to take care of their peers, to take care of the royal family. When the Labour Party came in, they just said, nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing any of that whatsoever. So they have completely colluded with the media to try to destabilize this government. This is what is happening in the UK at the moment. Dobie says Kate doesn't have cancer. Uh, I, uh, you know what? That's fine. I am going to. I just put this. Yeah, I could. I'll be dealing with this. I have made up my mind that I will not be majoring in the minor, so I'm not going to be arguing about anything. Just open your mind to what is happening, or forget about it. My job here is just to tell you exactly what is going on. Anyway, so this is where the Sussex Squad comes in. As I have been campaigning for the last couple of weeks, we need to tackle the media because they hide behind the royal family. And as we need to organize this UN petition so that the UN lends their voice to the campaign against the smear campaign against Harry and Meghan. If you want to join the conversation, you need to join our channel membership for more updates on how we're getting on. Okay? The door to join the conversation is going to be open up to a certain point. So the time to join is now. And if you're going to be joining the private Facebook group that we've got going on, where we discuss the steps that we're taking and the updates that are being discussed, then you would need to be recommended by somebody who knows you in the group. Okay. Um, uh, the we had our first meetup on Sunday where I shared the breakdown of the PR experts action plan against an online smear campaign and analyzed what Prince Harry and Meghan have done so far and how we can come in. I have now started the process of doing the work needed to file the petition, right? So our next meeting is going to be on Sunday, where I'll be sharing what I have done so far and the steps that I am going to be taking next. So, what you have on the screen is the requirements that I have to be able to bring this petition to the United Nations and UNESCO's. And for that reason, I am looking to build the subscriber base up to 10,000 subscribers in order for me to gain the support of other people with a platform to help push the mission forward. The second requirement that I will have is to get myself to 1,000 channel members at least, because doing the research and doing the research, attending legal consultations, and reporting to move this mission forward is going to take money. But if we have about 1,000 people subscribe to my channel at the price of £4.99 each, this could propel the mission forward at an exponential speed. Okay, so the link to the channel membership of this channel is at the top of the chat. If you would like to join the mission, please go ahead to join the membership of the channel. The link is at the top of the chat. I think it's pinned up here. It's pinned to the top of the chat. Okay. Join the channel membership, because we can't just continue to sit back and complain about what is happening without doing anything about it. Okay. The third thing I need, please, if you're interested in joining the mission, is 1,000 Instagram followers to effectively disseminate information to the squad. And most people are on Instagram. So this will boost our ability to influence the undecided, okay, and rally more supporters to join the cause quickly. The link to my Instagram account is in the description box of this video, and I am dropping it in the chat right now. I'm dropping it in the chat right now. So if you want to join my Instagram page and you haven't joined it already, please go ahead to do so now. Okay? So at the moment, the good news is that the racist rioters are being sentenced in quick order. I love it. The man is so efficient. Like, he was a former prosecutor, just like Kamala. So he knows exactly what to do to get everything moving quickly. And he has put everything in place that needs to be put in place. Look at this. So we have this person on Twitter who is giving updates as people are being charged and sentenced, right? So they're identifying all the rioters and the protesters and watching them being arrested and charged as well. Yes. Yeah. Cookies and Cream says, I have mentioned several times that we should contact the UN so that they can speak out. Yeah, yes, I am definitely in the process of working on it. I do need support though. So I need the numbers, I need funds to be able to do it. This is why I'm asking for channel membership as well. When I had the meeting with the PR experts, the consultation cost me £150 per hour. And I had the meeting, I think I had the meeting twice and the exchange in between. So that's fine. I don't need to worry about that. I was just curious and I was getting really fed up with coming online all the time to talk about this and not really knowing where to start or what needs to be done about it. And that's why I had the meeting. But taking it further and going beyond that, like going to have a meeting the caliber of lawyer who would need to deal with this international case. You would need two lawyers. You need a king's counsel. What do they call them in America? In UK, they call them King's Counsel. These are the senior lawyers who they call them colloquially, they call them silks. In Nigeria, I know that they call them SANs, like senior advocates of Nigeria. So they are the senior lawyers in court. Um, and But anyway, so this is the good news. Everything is being dealt with and things are calming down rapidly. Although they have said that they are still trying to bring more riots, but for the moment, Keir Starmer and his team have moved quickly. And the thing is that Keir Starmer has grassroots appeal as well. He's not snobby like Boris Johnson. I think if it was Boris Johnson in this position, he would have had a tougher time. Keir Starmer has a lot more grassroots appeal. And so he was able to motivate like ordinary people to come out to the streets to do the counter protests. That helped tremendously to squash the uprising that the far right were trying to bring to the UK. So while in depth investigations regarding the race riots have now begun, I hope they lock up all these people who are just full of hate. I hope they lock them out for trying to destroy society just because people who are trying to repair what the conservatives have destroyed for the last 14 years have come in. It's just crazy. Um, Meanwhile, while all of this is going on, um, Archewell Foundation has been rolling out their new program to the Parents Network, and it's impressive to see how many partners are already sponsoring this program. So I'm going to be doing a video on that later in the week. But so far, I have counted about 10 partners. Archewell has 10 partners. Can you believe it? It's amazing. That is amazing. So there you have it, guys. There you have it, guys. Don't fall for the outrage reporting. And let's get on with the project of bringing this UN petition to fore. And don't forget that to help me out on the journey, you would need to join the channel membership, as the link is at the top of the chat. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment in the comment section for more updates. Your voice matters, so let's keep the conversation going. This is Wheezy signing out. Until next time. Sorry, just a second before I go. Lorna says you need a lawyer that deals with international law and specializes in UN law. I don't think they have a specialized name for those types of lawyers in North America. Yes, I know this. I have already started researching. When I say King's Counsel, I mean it's a separate class of lawyer, not the particular area of law that I was referring to. So you have the lawyers who just like are regular lawyers, but you have the more senior lawyers who are awarded senior status when they go to court. They're called senior advocates or silks. Those are the people who would need to take the case to the United Nations because that's the level that they are at. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this very different point of view. I understand how you guys feel, but unfortunately, I can't go with the herd. I can't go with what everybody is saying. just because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't do any good to throw my to concentrate on the royal family when in this instance, for me, I mean, I can't force you to join me in my point of view, but when I see that it is not the royal family who are the cause of the problem in this instance, I can't join everyone to say it's the royal family who are the problem. We are, of course, I accept that the royal family are not worth anything, but I see that they're just being used at the moment as a tool to distract everyone away from what the real problem is. Have a good night, and I will speak to you again uh, on Sunday. For those who are channel members, I will see you on Sunday. All right. Have a good night and ciao. Ciao. Bye.